Hey, you guys, this is Miss Lady Luck. Now, my first podcast I want to dedicate to women's work. Okay, the reason why I want to dedicate it to women's work is because at the end of the day, women, we want to be appreciated. Okay, now when it comes to relationships, regardless on if it's a relationship with a male or a work relationship or a self relationship, we gotta put ourselves first. Okay, regardless, because if we don't put ourselves first, how can we do anything for anybody else? Now, the reason why I want to look into relationships is because a lot of us are lost or confused and really don't know what route to go. It could be from a relationship, a friendship, a social network, anything. Anytime that you signify a red flag, you want to make sure that you're not overlooking it, right? The blind can't lead the blind. So if you're overlooking a situation, of course, it's going to come out as dead weight. So look at it. Take a look at yourself. Look inside who you are and actually believe the things that you look at, the things that you see. Because at the end of the day, we gotta start putting ourselves first. Okay? Now, I'm gonna talk about me personally. I'm kind of like on a balance type thing. As far as me being a mother, being a student, being a superior as far as a leadership. So I have to set aside everything and still do something for me. Because in order for me to accomplish anything, I have to be right. Because I can't go in a situation and not know what I'm doing. Because you know what's going to happen? I'm going to be lost. And a lot of us are. A lot of us women are lost. We don't have anybody. We don't have no one to listen. Everyone depends on us for everything else. But just remember, you are who you are. And in order for you to do anything for anybody else, you have to be who you are. Self-reflection. One thing that I learned in my class that I take right now is that you have to have a relationship with yourself first. Because in order for you to handle things that come your way, if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to handle that situation correctly. It's going to be all over the place. And what I'm telling you, look, we have to, as women, we have to make things work. Right? We have to make things work, because if we don't, it's going to fail. All right, y'all. So I'm actually going to put an extension to the first one that I did. I just wanted to give myself, kind of just a little bit of leeway and kind of see how it is. So like I was telling you guys, I'm going to dedicate my first podcast to women, because at the end of the day, we are such phenomenal beings. Okay? We have to deal with a lot of things on a day-to-day basis that intertwine on who we are. It's always say that when it comes to women, our job is never done. Okay? So let's start with relationships. And what I mean by that is that we want to determine, what are things that we go through on a day-to-day basis when it comes to relationships. A lot of us get into a relationship at a honeymoon state, right? And with the honeymoon state, we kind of indulge in the situation versus really observing what's going on. You get what I'm saying? The honeymoon stage is going to be something that is new, exciting, and a lot of us go into it blind. And the reason why I say a lot of us go into it blind, because we see, if it's an unhealthy situation, we see a red flag in the beginning, but we overlook it. And then down the line, we continue to let this stuff build on and keep going, and then we start to lose control. Okay? The one thing that I realized, just being in different relationships with different people. All of us are different, right? But that does not mean that we don't have the same type of soul. I know it's people out there, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit. I know it's people out there that you probably dealt with, and you like, dang, they did me the same way, or dang, they act the same way, or dang, they did this, that, and the third, right? I was always taught that even though there's the same soul in different bodies. And even with us, as women, or reflecting on different types of relationships, a lot of us have healing souls. So with a healing soul, of course, we're going to attract the same type of people, which are broken ones, right? We don't look at it in that way, but the older that you get, the more education that you come across, the more educated that you are, you're going to start to realize that's what's happening. It's a repetitive situation. Now, as far as like a work bond or a friendship, one thing that I learned as far as like the relationships that you have with your friends is if you have someone that's bothered by your presence, then that's not really your friend. There's no reason why I should provide positive feedback to you or say something uplifting and you respond in a negative way. Like, we supposed to be, the one thing that we want to do is that we want to make sure that we're uplifting and not destroying. And some people just ain't meant to go with you to the next level. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the time, when it comes to like friends, we already know that everyone is not your friend. And sometimes a situation would change a person and make them not the person that you thought they were. Don't always go on a whim and think that everyone that you know or everyone that you meet or whatever the case may be is your friend. I see it a lot. I'm someone that I have a great spirit. I have a good vibe. But at the end of the day, I don't take no bullshit. And neither should you. If anyone ever gave you a feeling or made you feel some type of way or made you feel like they rubbed you the wrong way, then that person's just not your friend. Or that person is just not meant to be in your presence. And I mean that from the most humblest way. Like friendships, relationships, co-workers, whatever the case may be, if that person gave you a bad taste, you always want to believe your first initial thought. Okay?